One of the biggest things that we hear complaints about is that the sizes of our schools competing against each other really are not like-sized. For those of you that don't know the intricacies of our alignment, right now there's not enough Division I, Division II schools out west to really sustain those divisions, but we're forcing those schools to come out east in our semifinals and our finals of our state to play against schools much bigger than them. If we align our state across the entire state, we feel as if we're going to be able to get much better parity amongst our schools, and schools will be placed in like-sized divisions. Another complaint that we heard from our colleagues and from the membership a lot of times is that the path to the state championship is not equal. Out west and out in the central Mass part of the state, we could only play 2 rounds to get to a state semifinal, where in the south and the north, they could be facing as many as 6 rounds because they're qualifying so many more teams than we are in other parts of our state. We want to make sure that we're using the same format across the state in terms of seeding and qualifying, and just kind of clean up some of those issues that many of us have talked about in plenty of rooms across the state. One of the things that we also hear a lot of times is that sometimes the 2 best teams in our state could be in the same section. And in our current format right now, where we're competing regionally and then getting to a state semifinal, we're knocking some of our best teams out in those sectional final rounds. And wouldn't it be great to have a true state championship where the 2 best teams at the end of the year are the ones vying for that championship? And then finally, some of the other things that we talked about that the association has done such a great job in really pushing for our students and our athletic directors to build this kind of unifying culture around us. And right now, operating regionally, it just doesn't feel like we're able to do that. We feel as if the state tournament format will really unify our state, bring our kids from all over the state competing together a lot more, and certainly our schools will benefit from that. So the nuts and bolts of the tournament proposal are that we will qualify 32 teams in each of our divisions using a max preps rating. So power seeding will determine our top 32 teams in each division. Teams not power seeded in the top 32, but meeting our 50% qualifying criteria, will also be eligible for the tournament. That was the direct feedback from our colleagues at a few of our meetings, that they did not want to lose that 50% qualifying standard that we currently have in our system. And so it seemed as if it was a relatively easy fix for us to go ahead and do that. All teams will be seeded by max prep rating system. That was the rating system that was determined that would meet our needs the best. The top 4 teams will be placed in 4 brackets. For those of you that are very familiar with the NCAA model, it's very similar. So we'll have our top 4 seeds anchoring our brackets, and then we'll fill in our brackets from there. When we brought in that 50% qualifying criteria, it changed the way that we would operate a little bit. Once our bracket of 32 is set, we'll add in those teams at the bottom, and they'll play a preliminary game with the bottom part of the bracket. So if we have 6 teams beyond our 32 that qualify, they're going to go ahead and play the lowest 6 teams in the bracket of 32 in a play-in game, and then from there we'll go ahead and continue our tournament with a bracket of 32.
So some of the conversations that we had in our last tournament management meeting was about having sports committees being able to have the ability to go back and look at some of these numbers and be able to say, hey, you know what, we have 2 divisions now, but a 3rd division would really benefit our sport. You know, we came up with ground rules, and now we want sport committees to be able to go back, take what we've done, and be able to really kind of look at it and say, this is what works, this is what doesn't work. If we had 5 divisions, this would be so much better for us. Or in fact, we have 5 now, and we'd like to go to 4, because we'd have 4 amazingly competitive statewide divisions. Let it go back to the sports committees. Let those sport committees have those conversations, and then hear from them what their views are. They'll bring them back to us, and we can make some adaptation with that. So again, moving into it, again, having the sport committees with the Super 8 and Division 1A tournaments, that has come up. That's a blue ribbon / tournament management / board of directors kind of initiative. None of us are saying that we don't want them. What we're saying is the sports committees now can come back to tournament management, and they can request with a level of criteria to tournament management to come in and say, this is why we want it, this is the reason we want it, and we're going to continue to have it, and that's totally fine with us.